I'm Carolee Garrison, singer-songwriter, self-care coach for burnt-out moms, and your host of the Seeking Sunshine podcast, where we find the positive in the trials of life.
There are times when life just brings you down, 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 down to the ground. And it's hard when you can't see the light, 'cause things don't look so bright. So now it's time to reframe and retrain your brain. It's time to look for the good. You know that you should. Why don't you join me? 'Cause I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. Oh, oh, oh. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine. I'm seeking sunshine.
I'm so excited to share this new version of my single Seeking Sunshine with you in my upcoming album. I don't have a release date yet, but stay tuned, it's coming up. Are you looking for ways to support my podcast? If so, then please like it, subscribe it, and leave it a review. Did you know that if you leave a review, it helps my podcast get shown to more people? I would so appreciate it if you could leave some words in the review box and let people know. Share this with your friends and family and just tell them about the episodes that you really like and some of the takeaways that you've personally received and that have helped you out. Do you have a story to share? I would love to interview you for my podcast. I want to hear all about you and what you've been through and how you've been able to seek sunshine in your journey. Please reach out to me. You can send me a message in DMs on social media, or you can even send me an email at caroleegarrison@gmail.com. I would love to talk to you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Seeking Sunshine podcast. We have another special episode today, which is an excerpt from our live workshop. It is called Dare to Self-Care from Burnout to Bliss. It's a 5-day free virtual workshop that I did in my Shine Self-Care group that is all about helping burnt out moms find themselves in motherhood and learn how to really do self-care that makes a difference. So today is Nourish Your Soul, which is really, really important to me. And I won't go into too much detail here because when I dive in on there, it'll all just come together. So here we go. Welcome to day 4 of the Dare to Self-Care from Burnout to Bliss workshop. I am so thrilled to have you here. I'm so excited to get to teach this today. Today is day 4 of the Shine process, and so that means we're on N, and N is for Nourish Your Soul. And oh my goodness, this one just has so much meaning to me. It's one of my favorites. I think they're all my favorites, but this one has a lot of really incredible meaning to me personally, because my biggest passion is actually music and singing. And for a really long time, I thought that was going to be completely impossible, but it's not, it turns out. And also it turns out that doing the thing that you love makes a humongous difference in your energy levels to take care of everything else that you have to care for. So if you are here, please give me a little shout out in the comments. Let me know you're here. Tell me hi. If you are watching the replay, please write #replay so that I can know that you watched it so we can do a credit. Because again, I am doing an amazing giveaway. I am giving away 3 one-on-one coaching sessions with me. A one-on-one coaching session is incredible because we get to deep dive into your specific problems and goals and your life, really, really specific one-on-one personalized ideas and goals and content, the kind of stuff that we just can't dive into in a live that's meant for everyone, right? This is stuff that's just for you, for your particular passions, for your particular circumstances, and it's amazing. It's gonna be totally life-changing. It's gonna be incredible. And so I'm giving away 3 of those. One is if you enter in the post that's pinned to the featured section, and it's for inviting 10 or more people, and I think I'm gonna let that one go until tomorrow. meaning you can continue to invite people and enter into that giveaway until Friday night. Okay? Because then I'm going to give you through Monday morning, so kind of give you the weekend to do the rest of the homework and catch up on the lives for the other 2 giveaways. The second one will be for somebody who has who has watched all the videos. That doesn't mean you have to be live. It could be that you watch the replay. That's totally fine. Trust me, of all people, I understand that we all have crazy lives and that, sometimes things just happen and we can't make it live. So watching the replay counts for that. And then the other one I'm giving away is for somebody who does all the homework. And that one, there's a lot of opportunity in that one. Go and get your homework done. And again, I'm going to give you through the weekend to get that done. So I would love to know if you're here. Give me some thoughts. And I want to know about your thoughts on inner wholeness that we talked about yesterday. What did that bring up for you? How did that change your perspective on who you are as a person and how you can show up in the world around you? Because that was a really, really impactful topic. And then we had some homework questions. And if you would like to talk about those, I would love to hear your thoughts. So today is Nourish Your Soul. And it's all about what brings you energy. The thing is, there's all these metaphors, right? Fill your cup, put your oxygen mask on first. And then there's the one I introduced the other day about, filling your car up with gas, right? But it's all about what brings you energy, whether it's gas, whether it's filling your cup with the liquid, or whether it's oxygen, right? It's all a metaphor for energy. So this is about what lights you up, what excites you. And it's going to be different for everybody. But, oh, hi, Leticia. I'm so glad you're here. So what lights you up is going to be different for everybody. But you need to find the thing that is just for you. What is the thing that really excites you? And find ways to include that in your life more. And it might not be, doing a whole new thing. It might just be changing your perspective of how you do something you're already doing. So actually, I have a really amazing recommendation for that. And maybe I'll make this again at the end just in case anyone's missing it, because it's been really impactful for me. And that is to go find your Sparketype. I heard about this company. You can go to the website. It's sparketype.com. Maybe I'll put that in the comments. Let's see if I can spell it. SPRKETYPE.com. I'm pretty sure that's it because I was just looking it up not too long ago. Sparketype.com. And I believe this was created by a guy named Jonathan Fields. That I might have his name wrong. I need to look that back up. But essentially it's like, yeah, that is right. Okay, Sparketype.com. So go to this website. They're going to give you a little quiz and you put your email address in and then you go through and you answer these questions. And it's going to tell you what lights you up the most. And now I really thought that I knew, and I did I kind of knew, but the clarity that I got from taking this little free quiz, was amazing. So for me, my number one Sparketype is performing. And what's funny about that is I was sure that it was going to be a maker, a creator, right? Because my whole life I've been making things, right? I studied sewing in college and costume design. I've always I used to have a business where I made button jewelry. I've always been a maker, make things with my hands. But as I took this quiz, I realized that the reason that I make things is as a performance, is so that I can perform more. And so I'm trying to include more performing in my life. And the more I do it, the more it lights me up so much, right? That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this, because this is my favorite thing to do. This lights me up, talking to groups of people, performing, right? And so a performer is my number one Sparketype, and then my backup, my second is the maker. And that insight made a huge difference for me. So I definitely recommend that you go to Sparketype.com. It's totally free. I think you just have to give them your email and they email you all the information after you take the quiz. And it's really a beautiful way to learn what it is that lights you up. And when you know what brings you energy, you can do that more in your life in a number of different capacities. Like, it doesn't just have to be like the obvious ways, and they give you a lot of ideas of like different ways you can bring that into your life. So I wanted to touch on that for a second. And now we're going to move on to our meditation, which is a really lovely one. It's a really lovely one. And I think that especially as we go through this journey together of this workshop, like, we're seeing how powerful these deep dive meditations are and how much they can just open us up to feel joy and the beauty and love around us, and how much they can help us really think and get inspiration. So I'm excited for this one. If you are not familiar with inner child work, that's kind of what we're going to do with this one. And it's a really interesting idea that we all kind of have. There's this stream of thought, right? That, and actually it's like scientifically proven, so it's not just like theoretical, it's like a thing, that whenever you have trauma, like at whatever age you have trauma, and even if it's little, we all have different traumas from our childhood, right? The idea is that you stop growing emotionally at that age. And so the idea of doing inner child work is kind of going back to that inner child and helping to heal the trauma from your early childhood, so that you can be healed now as an adult, and that you have the power to go back and to heal those things. So we're going to dive into that. So if you are ready, I'm ready. Let's go. And apologies, my dog is running around, so hopefully he won't interrupt our meditation too much. So, all right, everyone, it's time to close your eyes, and it's time to take some big deep breaths. The deep breaths that really fill up every cavity of your body. 1 second. Apologize for this. Get out, you stink so bad. Y'all, it's really hard to concentrate on meditation and taking big deep breaths when my dog is so stinky and right up next to me. So I really apologize. We're gonna start over, and I'll be calm, and we're gonna and it's just the truth of, like, even if you're practiced at meditating, sometimes things just happen, and it's okay. And we, shoo the dog away, and then we come back. And we come back to that place, right? It's okay. It's okay for things to come up. It's okay for your meditation to be interrupted. And what's really true for me is, like, I've had plenty of times where I've been trying to do my meditation, and I've been all in there, and then my kids start yelling at me or something, and I snap back. And then I have to go, oh my gosh, wait a minute. The whole point of my meditation is to help me be calmer and more patient with my kids. So sometimes things come up. Sometimes dogs and kids interrupt. Sometimes, a bus goes by and it's really loud and breaks your concentration, right? Things happen, and it's okay. And it's okay, and we can just bring ourselves back to where we were trying to be in the first place. And that's one of the most amazing parts about meditation, is that practice of coming back, right? Come back to the peace, come back to being present and mindful. So, close your eyes, take some really deep breaths. It can be really nice to blow that air out. It can be really calming to do that. So I want you to imagine, as you continue to breathe really deeply, I want you to picture yourself walking through a park that has big, beautiful trees and rolling hills. And it's fall, so the leaves are changing colors, and they're so beautiful as they fall down, and the temperature is totally perfect. And maybe there's even like a lake that you can see off in the distance. And you're walking down this path in this really beautiful park. And you're just enjoying all of the scenery of this beautiful world. And you're feeling really, really at peace as you feel so much gratitude for the colors around you, for the light breeze that feels so good. And you can hear the crunch of your steps on the gravel path as you walk through the park and just appreciate everything around you. And your tension seems to melt away, and you're just really, really present in this moment. And you come across a little wooden bench, and it's overlooking this beautiful lake. But there's somebody sitting on the bench already. There's a little girl sitting on the bench. And she looks at you, and you look at her, and she seems really familiar. And she's all alone, so you're a little bit worried about her, so you decide to go sit down on this bench next to her. And she strikes up a conversation, and she says, "Hi!" And you ask her her name. And it's the same as yours. And you ask her what she likes to do. What does she like to do? Does she like to play? And when she plays, what does she play with? What really brings her joy? What really brings her joy? Does she love playing with her family? Does she love playing with her friends? And just think about what she really, really loves to do. What are the things that she studies in school that really excite her? What makes it really fun to go do these things? Does she have any extracurricular activities that she just loves and wants to and dreams of doing for the rest of her life? And then you ask her about her dreams and her goals and her ambitions. And it's really beautiful. It's a really beautiful dream that she has, and you recognize those dreams, and you feel them in your heart, and they really speak to you, and you're trying to figure out why. And soon enough you realize, if you haven't yet, that this little girl is you. She is you. And you had forgotten about all of those dreams. They've been buried really, really deep inside you for a long time. And somehow they've been shoved to the back burner in adulthood. All the plans that you had for your life, they haven't happened yet. Are you even working on them right now? This little girl looks to you, and she knows that you are her future self. And she says, promise me you won't let my dreams die. Promise me that you will develop these gifts and find joy in them and use them to help people. And you look at her and you know that if you want to make this promise, you're going to have to change some things in your life. So before you answer, you take a big, huge, deep breath. And you promise. You promise her that you're going to fight for her dreams. You thank her for the conversation and you stand up and continue to walk along this path, and you hear the crunch of your footsteps under the gravel, and you see the beautiful lake that is on the other side, and the water's rippling in the wind. And you turn back to see if the girl's okay, and she's gone. All of those dreams, all of those hopes and those talents, all of that innocent joy is inside you. You had just forgotten about it. Take another deep breath. And remember that promise that you made to her to keep those dreams alive. Take a couple more big, deep breaths. And slowly start opening your eyes. What did you feel during that? How did that make you feel? What came up for you? Were there some things that maybe you had forgotten about that you really loved? So one of the reasons that I'm doing all of this workshop and self-care coaching is because we are taught as moms, right? We're taught in our culture that once you become a mom, that's it. That's everything. Your kids are what is supposed to light you up the most. But for a lot of us, they don't. And that's okay. It feels like a really, really shameful thing to admit out loud. But it's okay if your kids are not the thing that lights your soul on fire. You can still find joy in motherhood. You can still love your kids and serve them with everything you've got. But you were a person before you had kids. You had dreams and goals and talents and skills before you became a mom. And it's actually only going to help your kids to pursue their dreams and know that it's possible no matter the circumstances when they have the example of you following yours and pursuing your passions. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about following your passions, nourishing your soul, because there are parts of you that are not motherhood. Yes, yeah, exactly. You are a mom and you are you. You does not have to disappear into motherhood. And yet, for a lot of us, it has. And me, for so long. So my big passion, my big dream has always been singing. And I became a mother. And for a really long time, about a decade, I thought that it was impossible. I thought it was completely impossible for me to be able to perform and sing and do what I love and also be a mom. And since I have special needs kids, and at least one of them is never going to leave, I will be his caretaker for his whole life. I was sure that my singing dream was dead, and that there was no way that I would ever be able to do what I loved while I was his mom. And being his mom came first, and I shoved myself to the side, and my dreams just disappeared for a really long time. But the thing was, it burned in my heart, guys. I couldn't get rid of it. I tried. I really tried to stamp out that flame. And I couldn't do it. It wouldn't go out. And eventually I learned that I didn't have to put it out and that I could do both. And so that's what I'm here to teach you today, is that you can do both. Or all of it. Because goodness gracious, I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a singer-songwriter. I have 5 singles that I released last year, and I released a Christmas album, and my big album's coming out in just the next few months. I have a podcast. It's called Seeking Sunshine that I'm the host of, and I've been doing that for a little over a year. And I'm a self-care coach. So it's not just like one passion that I get to pursue. I get to pursue all of my passions and be a special needs mom, like a caretaker and in a very intense way. And like, that's an incredible thing to learn. So Leticia asked me if my kids sing. They refuse. They will not sing. They will not perform. It's so sad because my husband and I are both singers. We're both trained in opera. We're both singer-songwriters. And my kids will not. Just hands down refuse. So that's been kind of a bummer because they don't want to pick up on that legacy. And, maybe as they get older, it'll be something that they will enjoy more. But right now they've decided they don't want none of that life. It's not for them. And I can only respect their choice. I'm a little disappointed, of course, but I must respect what they actually love. And I can see... Thanks. Yeah, I actually studied opera for a really long time. And the reason that I studied opera was because I was overweight. And I thought that the only stage that would ever accept me, was the fat lady singing, right? The opera cliche. I thought I couldn't find success on any other stage. And then I was not accepted into the School of Music for Opera twice. And by a hair. They let 3 or 4 people in each year, and I was so close, and I didn't get in, and for a while I thought that was it. I thought that was going to be the end. So that's kind of my story, is that I was a mom of 3 kids. We had been through just hell and back, and I auditioned for the School of Music for Opera for the second time, a decade after auditioning the first time, and I just barely did not get in, and it absolutely devastated me. And for months, I couldn't sing without crying. It was really, really hard. But what happened was I actually wrote songs in middle school all the time. And I actually don't love listening to opera. I liked singing it because it's really challenging, and I really love challenging vocals. But I never loved listening to it. Opera was never my favorite. It was just fun to sing. But also I did it because I thought it was the only place I could ever be accepted. And so when I was not accepted, I have a video of me singing opera on YouTube from my audition in 2018. It's on my YouTube channel. It's going to be a little ways back, but it's pretty obvious which one it is because it's the one where I'm in a big fancy dress. And I weighed a lot more then than I do now. So it's that one's, and it says like it's my audition for the School of Music. So it's from 2018. It's just on my YouTube channel, which is just under my name. So it's there. But because I didn't get in the School of Music, I decided to try my hand again at songwriting, which I'll tell you really quickly. When I was in middle school, I used to write songs and I loved it. And then when I was 14, I wrote a song and I had my accompaniment and I recorded it, and I had a friend of mine film a music video for me. And we put it on YouTube, and this would have been 2004 when I was 14. And I got a lot of trolls. A lot of trolls found that video in 2004 and said some really horrific things, and I didn't write music again for close to a decade. So anyways, not getting into the School of Music, I knew I needed to find another way, and so I started writing songs again, and that opened up kind of a whole new world, and it's been a really incredible thing. So I need to dive into this content because now we're like 30 minutes in. So it's follow your passion, learn new things, and then spirituality, and I'll show you how those all tie in together. And the workbook is available. I definitely recommend you print it out, but it is there for you. So the first question to follow your passion. No worries, I could talk forever, especially about music, and I have, and I think I have a whole podcast episode where I like deep dive into my story of music and stuff. So it's around. Okay, so my first question in the workbook is, what were your favorite things to do as a child? Which that's kind of what we explored in this meditation, right? Like, what are the things that you have forgotten about and let disappear in the place of motherhood? Like, right? What are those things? Write them down, because it's important to write them down. The things that you are passionate about are not random. They are your calling. This is one of the most amazing things I was ever told. It wasn't long after I had not made it into the School of Music a second time, and I was trying to figure out if I should just completely scrap the music thing. Ooh, storytelling and cooking, I love it. You could do those together. Anyways, I was trying to figure out how to scrap this love of singing, which I had been trying to do forever and couldn't figure out how to put that flame out, right? Because it just burned this passion inside me. And then I had a coach who told me that if you feel passionate about it, you are called to it. You are meant to do it. If you feel it, it was meant for you. And so I kept going. So something that sometimes people struggle with is creativity, because creativity is kind of what we're all talking about, right? The writing music and creating costumes, which is what I've done, storytelling, writing, cooking, those are all creative endeavors. And sometimes people go, oh, well, I'm just not creative, or maybe I used to be, but I'm not anymore. And so I have this great little analogy of like, have you ever seen a preschool class or a kindergarten class where there was a student who didn't enjoy painting? They all love it. They all love being creative, and they are all creative. We are all creative. You are creative. Creativity, and again, I'm very spiritual, very much of a religious person, and so if you are not, you are absolutely welcome to translate this in whatever way fits you, the universe and all that. But to me, creativity is a spiritual endeavor. And that's why I have a whole section on spirituality in here, which I'll dive into in a minute. But creativity brings energy, right? Have you ever felt that? When you get really passionate about something you are creating and making, and it can be anything. It doesn't even have to be something with your hands. It could be a work project. But creativity lights us up. When we make things, it lights us up. The desire, this is another quote on our worksheet, on our thing that says the desire to create. The desire to create is one of the deepest yearnings of the human soul. I feel that one so deeply. So I talked about my music and how singing lights me up and energizes me, and I'm so passionate about it. And if you are not sure like where your passions are, what lights you up, I again totally recommend going to sparketype.com, doing that little free quiz. It will really open your eyes of what lights you up. So if you're struggling with that, go do that. So the second thing on this list is learn new things. So for me, I've been studying singing for like 2 decades, almost now. I've been studying singing for a really long time, but it wasn't until I got a coach and learned how to like write music. I have a tiny bit of piano history, but I had to learn how to do chords. I had to learn how to put it all together into like a real song. Like I had a lot of things that were like underneath that passion that I needed to learn. And when I learned those things, it opened up so many doors for me to be able to like produce and record my own music at home. My 5 singles that are out right now, I did all of it myself. And I am like not a techie. I am so terrible at technology, but I've been learning how to produce my own music, and it's been really an incredible thing to learn, and just so many doors open from that. And so my challenge for you is to look at all the different things that you love and see if there's any like gaps. Like what are you missing in your knowledge that you could go learn to help you be able to do that better or more often or get it out there better? That's my question. So yeah, what skills could you learn that would help you become better at your passions? And then this amazing quote, suddenly you know it's time to start something new and trust the magic of new beginnings. I find it's funny because in the Sparketype thing, actually my anti-Sparketype is learning. I spent so long hating learning. I became a mom and I didn't read a book for a decade. And I was like, I don't have time for that. I just didn't see the value in it. And now that I'm trying to grow my pre-existing talents and passions, I am constantly reading. I have like a shelf of like 30 books that are on my list to read. I think I read 20 books last year. Like it's been incredible and I have learned so much. I'm taking all these classes and it's been incredible. It turns out that when you go to learn things you actually want to learn, it lights you up in a way that is fascinating. So I have this little list of like, how can you add more learning into your day? Because taking that time out of motherhood to feed your brain and to grow it and learn new things. Like, you know, they say that if you've heard of neuroplasticity, do you know what that means? And it's an important one to talk about in here, although I don't have it written down anywhere. Neuroplasticity just means that our brains have the capacity to form new pathways at every age. Meaning that you are not stuck in your thought patterns like we talked about yesterday, and you're not stuck in your current skill level. You're not stuck. Our brains are plastic, which means that they grow. They can, and it depends on what you do with it, right? You can stop doing certain things and those pathways will stop being used, and hopefully that could be things like negative thought patterns, right? But you can also grow new pathways that help you learn and grow faster and help you just be lit up and happy all the time. So I'm adding that in there. So some of the questions that I have written down here are like, do you feel inadequate with your dreams and your talents? Because I have absolutely felt like that. And what I want you to know is that talents can be cultivated. Did you know that people who have a little bit of talent and work really hard are going to succeed way more often than the people who have tons of talent and just rely on that and don't work hard? Hard work will get you further than talent. any day. And I can tell you that is totally true for me, because for my whole life I have felt like I was not really that talented, not really that smart, but I always worked so hard, and that has gotten me a lot further. But it's also true, I mean, there's so many examples, but one of the good ones is like, I want to say it was like Michael Jordan. I don't follow basketball. I'm not a basketball person. Yeah, you're right. You can't teach an old dog new tricks is a myth. That is absolutely true. I have heard of 80-year-olds starting businesses, like doing, like changing their entire lives. You can change it anytime. You are not stuck. But sorry, so what I was saying about basketball is, I want to say it was Michael Jordan who like didn't get onto a number of teams and like was kind of mediocre at basketball early in his career. And then when he really worked hard and practiced more than everybody else, that's how he became the best. It wasn't because he was the most talented from the start. So how can you learn new things and feed your brain? You can learn, right? And what are some different ways you can learn? I have a list here. You can read a book. I have a ton of books I can recommend. But specifically go find some books in the thing that you want to do, right? Like what lights you up. You can take classes, and there are so many ways to take classes. Like, it's amazing. So you can do coaching, which I absolutely highly recommend. Coaching's amazing. And what makes coaching amazing is the one-on-one talking to somebody and getting like their feedback on your strategies and your life and your circumstances, like how to personalize it to you. That's what makes coaching so amazing compared to the other things I have. But I love the other things too, and I've done all of these, right? College classes. I switched my college degree and started doing stuff I loved, and I learned so much more than I was doing when I was doing college classes that I hated, right? You can do community college classes. You can often find those when you're not enrolled in a college. You can just go take them. You can take them. I know that like the rec center around here has classes. Yeah, coaching is so important. You can find videos on YouTube. They have like bajillions of YouTube videos of like teaching people how to do things. That's an amazing free way to get started. And then one way that I have loved recently is I've taken a bunch of courses on Udemy, Udemy, and they frequently go on sale, and you can get them for like $10 to $20 for a class. And I have loved taking those, and I've learned tons from those classes, right? Like they're amazing. So I have this quote, it's in the workbook, and it's just that you would be surprised. You'd be amazed. It would blow you away, right? To know who is watching you and being inspired by your journey. I know your kids are. I know your spouses. I know your parents are. I know all of the people around you. They're watching you. Yeah, I did say Udemy. Yeah, so you'd be surprised at who's watching your journey and being inspired by it. Like, we don't really think about it, but your kids are watching you. Your kids are looking at your example. And if your example is, my mom is learning new things every day and following what she loves, oh my gosh, maybe that's an option for me too. That's an example I want to set for my kids. Maybe there's a way that I can do what I love for the rest of my life. Right? That's the example I want to set for my kids. So the last little piece that we have on here is spirituality. And I can see how at first it seems like this doesn't fit, but to me, it just fits right in. Creativity and spirituality just go hand in hand. And I'll give you my little analogy, which is part of my life, which is I didn't get into the School of Music, and then around 6-ish months later, I was able to get into a songwriting class in college, and my professor was terrible. He kind of taught me nothing, and he was really rude and awful. But I learned a lot in that class because I'm very type A and determined, right? And so our assignments were to write songs. And so I figured out how to write songs when I didn't really play any instruments. And that was definitely, a part of my learning curve that I needed to have. But when I was writing those songs, I was like, okay, this is going to be the most inspirational song anybody has ever heard. Every person who listens to this song is going to be totally uplifted. I just want happy, happy, rah, rah, rah all the time. That's how I wrote songs. Turns out you can't write songs like that. Turns out they are cliche mush and they are not inspiring. And then I actually was coached and had a coach, and coaching has changed my life. So I absolutely believe in it. And I learned how to just let my songs be inspired. And that was when I was able to start writing songs that made a difference. That's when I was able to write songs that were impactful and genuinely inspiring, because I wasn't trying to force them. So for me, creativity requires inspiration. It requires it. If we really want to give our best usually comes from God. Or for those of you who don't like that, for universe, whatever you want to say, right? For me, creativity comes from God. We are closer to God when we are creative than we are any other time. And I just adore that. So my question in the workbook for you is, how do you connect to a higher power? And one of those ways might be in creating, right? One of the ways I feel closest to God is when I am writing songs and I am trying to listen for inspiration. Which a lot of times that looks like meditation, right? As we sit and we listen and we go, okay, what do you want to tell me? What do you want me to bring to the world? Right? And when things feel inspired, we have a lot more confidence in them, or at least I do. I find that I have way more confidence in what I can do when I feel like it was inspired and in the decisions that I make. So I have this great quote, the more light, and we can compare. So I know I'm getting mixed up. My podcast is called Seeking Sunshine, right? And that's this is the shine method, and my first single I wrote is called Seeking Sunshine. Seeking Sunshine's my thing, right? It's the thing I wrap my heart around. Seeking Sunshine is all about seeking God. The sunshine is God. The sun, all the light that we look for in our lives. It's all God. It's all that divine inspiration, right? So the quote says, the more light that you allow within you, the brighter the world you live in will be. And I adore that quote, and I feel like it combines our spirituality and our creativity. The more we allow in that divine creativity, the more energy we're going to have. And then when you are doing things that light you up, oh my gosh, I can tell you from personal experience, it makes a huge difference in the way that we show up to our kids and to our stressful lives. And that's why this is such a huge part of self-care for me. Because caring for myself includes caring for my passions. Includes caring about my passions, right? About my talents and my skills. Self-care has to include caring about what you care about. Because what you care about matters. Creativity is another quote I have on the workbook. Creativity is a spark of the divine within each of us. And it is in each of us. I promise you, it's in you. And creativity might look different to you than it does to other people. Creativity doesn't have to be painting or writing songs or making things with your hands. Creativity can be writing. You can find creativity. Creativity is in problem solving. Did you know that? It takes creativity to solve problems. You have creativity in you. I promise. So the last question in the workbook is, how are your passion and your creativity related to your spiritual beliefs and practices? I feel so strongly that they should be really related. They should be together. Yes, we're all created for a divine purpose, and we were all given these gifts and these passions for a reason. We weren't given them so that we could become mothers and forget all about them. We were given them so that we could become mothers and inspire the next generation by leading the way and showing that it's possible. It's possible to raise a family and pursue your passions and pursue your dreams. It's possible. And you know what? It's not easy. But learning how to do that has been life-changing for me. Like, absolutely life-changing. Like, people ask me all the time, like, how do I do it? Because if you don't know my story very well, I have 3 kids with disabilities. I have 3 special needs kids. My husband was disabled for the last decade. And we were... Okay, he's doing much better now, where I'm very thankful that he's had this really incredible recovery journey, and he's been able to work for the last 6 months. But for the decade before that, he was not able to work. And I was his caretaker, and I was caretaker for the kids, and I couldn't work. So we were dead broke, and it was all stress all the time. And so people ask me, how did I get through that? How did I do that? And that's what this whole Shine method is all about. This is how. This is how I take everything I've been through and turn it into something to help other people like you. This is the how. The how is singing for me, finding my passion and wrapping it up with my spirituality, because I was not given this gift to just let it fall by the wayside, and neither were you. So that is a wrap on our day 4, but I have a couple more things to mention before I totally close up. So our homework is, I want you to pick one of those passions that was brought to your mind, because nothing is a coincidence, right? One of those passions that was brought to your mind, to your attention when we did that meditation. Something you loved as a kid that you have forgotten about and not given attention to in a while. I want you to write it down and make a commitment to learn more about it. Whether that's getting a book, and just so you know, I get most of my books from the thrift store, where they're like $2. Okay? Like, you can find, and I have a huge bucket list of books, and I have found so many of them at the thrift store. Like, you can, this does not have to be something that you invest in, but invest the time. And also, and you know what? Okay, investing the time is essential. It's absolutely essential. But investing the money makes it a lot more real. When you invest in yourself, when you have that accountability, you are 10 times more likely to change your life. And isn't that what you're here for? I mean, this is a self-care. Yeah, the library is great. You're totally right. My kids ruin all my books, maybe, so that one didn't come to my mind. And the library also has classes. Like, my library is doing a storytelling class. Like, join up with your local library. Like, get on their email list. They do classes all the time. But when you invest in yourself, when you put money where your mouth is, where your heart is, that's when things really start to change. Like, you have a lot of options. I mean, this is a free workshop, and we are working on self-care. We're working on how do we take our lives from feeling burnt out, from feeling overwhelmed, out of control, right? I don't feel like I'm here anymore. Like, where did I go, right? I just feel like motherhood has taken over my life. Who am I? How do we go from that feeling to feeling powerful and incredible and divinely appointed for this time and place for a specific purpose, which includes motherhood, but it also probably includes something else. How do we go from that awful, tight, stressed out feeling to feeling calm and joyful? You can try to take everything you've learned here and do it on your own. And you know what? Go for it. Like, this has been an incredible workshop. I have taught you everything I can possibly cram into each hour of this section, right? I'm cramming in everything I can into these 5 hours. Take it and learn from it. Fill out the workbooks. Do all the things. Absolutely. And I hope that will change your life. I really do. But the truth is that the majority of people need accountability. They need somebody holding their hand and saying, oh, make sure you do that. You promised yourself you were going to practice this today. You promised yourself you were going to read a chapter of your book today. Did you do it? Because otherwise, especially in motherhood, because motherhood is often chaos. I mean, maybe motherhood's not chaos for you. Maybe motherhood is just peachy and calm and happy all the time. But my motherhood looks like chaos because my kids are chaos, right? Kids are chaos. And so how do you find the clarity in the chaos when you can't think straight? The answer to that is you get a coach who can see through the forest, who can see from an outside perspective that has so much more clarity than you can have when you're in the middle of it. It's really, really, really hard to be running around all day with no time for yourself and to see what you could possibly cut and to see what you could possibly move around to make it so that you have time for you. I mean, raise your hand if you feel like you don't have time for self-care. I felt like that for a long time. And half of us sit here and we go, self-care? What does that even mean? And I'm here to tell you, this is what it means. It means knowing your worth. It means knowing that you are worth investing time and money in. I love it. Yeah, if you don't feel like you have time for self-care, how are you going to find the time for self-care? I can help you find it. And I hope that I have shared enough of my story to help you understand that I am not sitting here with 3 perfectly behaved kids who come home from school and just go do their homework. No, I have a severely autistic 11-year-old who yells in my face for hours a day. My oldest is failing half her classes. And I guess, I don't know, maybe I should share. My youngest had a big outburst yesterday and tried to hurt me. And he did. He succeeded. I have a big gash on my arm. I'm not coming from a place of everything's been easy. In fact, I'm coming from a place of everything has been so hard that I have been forced to find a way through it, and this is the way. This SHINE method, this is the way. And I can tell you from personal experience that coaching is indispensable. And I have invested more money than I ever thought I could afford, and it has changed my life because I have put money for me. And so, just the point of that whole thing right there is that the doors are open. The doors are now open for my 3-month one-on-one coaching program where we are going to take you from burnout to bliss. I am going to show you and walk you through the steps that are specific to you. The things that you need help with. Because I know I've had moments where I just want to scream at the universe and say, what the heck am I supposed to do now? Because I have no idea. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about my kids' behavior. It's really, really bad, and I don't know where to turn for answers. I've been through pretty much all of it. I've been through all the special needs stuff. I've been through it. I really have. I've been through it. And I can help you. So the one-on-one, oh, I'm sorry, your connection's terrible. I am launching the 3-month one-to-one coaching program, and I would be absolutely honored to have you in it. I want to hold your hand and walk you through all of it. I want to keep you accountable for every single goal you set for yourself. The things where you're like, I'm going to do this for me, because you deserve it. You deserve to feel happy and calm and at peace in the midst of whatever else is going on around you. And I'm not going to tell you to take a bubble bath. And I'm not going to tell you to go get a babysitter and go on vacation. Those things don't really help anyway. Right? So the 90-day one-on-one coaching program includes 12 personalized to you 1-hour sessions where we go through everything and you have a plan, a clear-cut plan of what to do next, things to practice to change your mindset so that you can start knowing your own worth. That's why I start with see your self-worth at the very beginning of this, because that's the basis for everything. Do you know how to increase your self-worth? Can you do it? Because I'd love to hold your hand along the way. I would absolutely love to. So 12 one-on-one, 1-hour sessions, daily Voxer support. If you have a question, if something comes up in between, throughout the week, something just goes totally crazy and you need someone to vent to, I'm there for you. I am there for you, and I probably have some really amazing advice for your situation because I have been through it all. I'm there for you. And then it's just a clear, proven path to take you from feeling out of control, from feeling burnt out, from feeling like you do not have time for yourself, to take you to the other side where you know how to make time for yourself. You know exactly what you should cut and how. You know how to simplify your life so that you can live a life that you don't feel like you have to escape from. Let's build that life for you. You deserve it. You deserve to live a life you love. And guess what? It's possible. And I am proof. I can tell you right now that it is possible to live a life you love, even as you have hard things going on around you. I promise you it's possible. So if this is something that you are interested in, send me a DM and we will hop on a clarity call together and we will figure out if this is the right path for you. If it's not the right path for you, then I will help you find what is. It doesn't have to be me. It does not have to be me. But you have to invest in yourself. So, send me a DM. I want to hop on a clarity call with you. I promise it will be worth your time. I promise. And one of the things that you should know about me is that I'm not a coach who's like, you have to have perfect quietness all around you while we have these coaching sessions. You have to be able to concentrate 100%. Sure, those are amazing things to try to have. But if you've got kids, then you've got kids, right? If they're not at school during the day and you have little ones at home, or, it's a Saturday, or you have summer break or spring break, hello, I'm in the same position. I understand. And if you need to do a coaching call while you've got kids around, then we're going to do it. Because we're going to make this work with your life. So, I have this incredible special deal going on just for February, right? Normally, it is $2,000 for 3 months of coaching with me. And right now, it is $1,000 for the paid upfront coaching for 1 month, for 90 days of coaching, 12 sessions, $1,000 up front, or $500 a month for a 3-month payment plan. Okay? I have some other smaller offers if that is something that is just something you cannot handle right now. Because trust me, I understand. I have been there. And I know how hard it is. I really do. And if coaching is just not something that you're feeling called to right now, and I really want you to pay attention, right? Pay attention to that feeling in your heart. If you feel called to it, follow that feeling. Don't let it slip away. Don't let it go by the wayside. Follow that inspiration, because it will lead you to joy. And if this isn't something you feel called to, then that's great. Do what you feel called to. I would love to have you stick around this group. I'm planning on doing weekly lives like this so that I can continue to support you guys as best as I can. This group will stay free. I want to give you guys as much content as I possibly can for free. But if you want me to hold your hand, if you want me to be there when you have some crisis going on and you don't know where to turn, I want to be there for you. I want to help you figure out your next steps. Yesterday, we talked about the 5 steps of overcoming overwhelm. And the last step of that was plan. And sometimes it's hard to see what the highest priority on that planning list should be. I want to help you with that. I want to help you get there. So send me a DM if this is something that you feel in your heart is something that you're called to. Send me a DM. We still have day 5 tomorrow. I am super excited for it. Day 5 is Endure in Sunshine, and I love it. I just love it. I am so passionate about all of this. It lights me up so much because I know that this is what I was meant to do. This is what I was meant to do. This is what I'm here for. This is why I've had a hell of a life and had so many trials, so that I can turn around and use everything that I've learned to help you grow, to help it be easier for you. So send me a DM if this is something you're interested in, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on day 5. Oh, thank you so much for coming and listening today. This workshop means so much to me, and I can't even tell you how much your support of my podcast means to me. It just means the world. This podcast is such a passion project of mine, and I hope that you are getting so much value and joy and beauty out of it. It really is. It's something I love to share with the world. And I hope that if you feel inspired, that you will share it with your friends and with those you love so that they can feel inspired too. So thank you for coming today. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for the last day of the workshop. Day 5 is Enduring in Sunshine. And it's just going to be another incredible day. So don't forget to join us tomorrow. And I'm going to leave you with a song.
Smooth surface hiding to